This is Locked On NFL Players Squad Show, where real players talk real football. No filters, no fluff, just raw insight straight from the guys who've been in the trenches, in the locker room, and under the lights. You want the truth about a game? You're in the right place. It's the NFL Players Squad on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome in, folks. It is the end of the NFL season, but this is the NFL Players Squad Show. I'm Anthony Armstrong, joined by Kadri Ismail, the Professor, Lincoln Kennedy. We got Bradford Banta and Jeff Scanina all here joining me. Mark Collins jumping in. He got to have the perfectly timed intro, so appreciate you making it in here. Super Bowl just ended, y'all. Super Bowl 60 is in the books. Another season is in the books, and the Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold and crew, they're raising the Lombardi Trophy. They won 29-13 over the New England Patriots over there in San Francisco. I know one of the biggest news that I saw, at least as of late, and y'all can chime in on it, because I heard that Sam Darnold's actually down $71K after playing all these games in California this year. And they done got after his pocketbooks a little bit, Brad.
No doubt.
Look, I was telling another group chat about it. I was like, no, my first year in the league, I got 8 W-2s. I didn't know what the heck was going on. All this daggum, everybody wanted in your pocketbook. But what you got, Mark?
Well, guys, when you make the playoffs, your salary stops.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody takes a pay cut.
Yeah.
You take a pay cut. So, you're playing for that ring now. So you may be arbitrary number. You may be making, let's say, $30,000 a game. But when the playoffs start, that drastically drops to maybe 10 for the wild card, 15 for the divisional. In the Super Bowl back in the day, it was 35 for the winner and 15 for the loser. So you take a drastic pay cut from that big ass salary.
Yeah.
I'm always
Mark,
tickled. Go ahead, Brad. Go ahead, Brad.
No, I was just going to say, you got to speak for yourself whenever you say you're taking a pay cut.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I do arbitrary out there too. So.
Okay.
First of all, let me say
Lincoln,
this. No, it's all good. It's all good. Here's the thing. I only had the pleasure of playing in one Super Bowl. And what always tickles me is when I've had, Raider fans or just people in general come up to me and say, hey, man, you know how much money I lost in that Super Bowl? I look at them like, hey, you know how much I lost in that Super Bowl? Anyways, but to the point of what we brought up, talking about Sam Darnold, I do not feel sorry for any quarterback in the National Football League. Zero.
Yeah.
Because whether you are a journeyman around the league, you are making money. And you are making a lot more money than all of us on this panel.
Yep.
I don't feel bad. If you lost 70, boo-hoo. Boo. How much did you get from going to Minnesota to Seattle? How much did you make this past season? Oh, don't miss me with all that.
Yeah. Lincoln said he don't feel sorry for you, man. He said just send it to your CPA, let them handle it, make sure everybody get theirs, and keep it moving. But the game was utter dominance. I mean, I think the score was probably closer than it was for the long part. It was 9-0. I was like, it might not be a touchdown scored in this game.
Yeah.
Let's talk. I was gonna ask Z that he just left on us. Brad, I'm gonna go Brad. Then we're gonna go Kadri. What was your take of the game? What was your one word take of the game, Brad?
I'm gonna use 2 words: field position.
Yeah.
That's it.
Field position. Expound on that, please.
So, the way the game was going with the defensive dominance on both sides of the ball, New England never broke inside of Seattle's 43-yard line until middle of the third or the fourth quarter. Yeah. So, and Mike saw how McDonald saw how the game was going. So he knew points were going to be at a premium. So whenever he had a chance, he was going to put points on the board, whether it be 3 or 6. In the beginning, obviously, was 3, and they did that 4 times before they scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
And so you just kept chipping away, and Vrabel saw the same thing, but they could never get the offense going until basically the fourth quarter. So it just the defensive output by both teams, and eventually Seattle's defense just wore down New England's offense. And then on vice versa, they just kept pounding. Seattle just kept pounding the ball offensively, and the dam finally broke.
Yes,
and
indeed.
That's when Walker was able to just gain yards. So
Yes,
kudos
indeed.
for them for getting a feel for the game early on and understanding the personality that was going to take place the entire game.
Kadri, what's
Bradford,
your
it's
one word?
I was going to say, Bradford, it's interesting. And Anthony, if I had the one word, it would be enjoyable. As much as for me as an offensive player, I want to see shootouts. I want to see the ball pushed down the football field. I thought Sam Darnold had some opportunities to get the ball down to Jackson Smith and Jigba and some of his other guys, Cooper Kupp and company. The defense, the way in which it was played, it was so cool to see the chess match that was going on. And I was just curious to see who was going to make the mistake first. I honestly thought that the way they came out, the way Seattle came out, in my mind, I thought the Patriots were playing aggressive enough, but they missed their secondary. They missed on a couple of interceptions because they were gambling and trying to be so aggressive and jumping some of the routes. But yes, the patience in which Mike McDonald was like, all right, you know what? We're just going to move the ball. We move the ball. Hey, now we're down in field goal. We're just going to take the points. Again, let our defense go out there and do what needs to be done. And then Seattle's punter, which his name slips my mind right now, homeboy should be the unsung hero award because the way he kept pinning back the Patriots and making them go the length of the field. To me, it was enjoyable to watch just the chess match of the game and to see who blinked first. And clearly, New England, they were blinking an awful lot, and that's why you got Seattle hoisting up the trophy.
Yeah, you're talking about Michael Dixon is the punter. Very rarely do the punters get any love. So shout out to Michael Dixon. 7 punts, 335 yards, 3 punts inside the 20. I mean, you name it. There goes Z again. Professor Kennedy, what do you got, man? Your one word, because then we're going to transition. I'm going to ask you again, but one word to describe the Super Bowl in your eyes.
If I had to say one word, I would probably say boring.
Boring. Okay.
And let me expand upon that. I know that people, as an offensive player, much like you said, I want to see some scoring and moving the ball. But to start the game off, I thought 2 out of Sam Darnold's first 3 passes should have been interceptions. They were gambling, and New England was jumping the routes. They knew Sam Darnold was a gunslinger. Where they lost their place was they lost containment and allowed the running back for Seattle to get outside.
Yeah.
If they could have boxed him in, he would have never been able to break out of those initial runs. And I know that's much of their game, but that zone scheme that they were running wasn't getting a whole lot of push up front. I mean, it was just they lost containment. They got guys that got caught up in the shuffle and stuff like that. So I credit Seattle for having the patience and being a good defense. But when you're able to rush 4 and drop 7, drop 8. 7. That was right the first time. But you're not able to run the football on a front 4. Something's wrong with that. It really is. And look, New England had 2 rookie offensive linemen, and Seattle took full advantage of that because they knew these guys played high and they knew that they could get pushed. So Seattle's personnel just said, we're going to push them back to the quarterback. And that's exactly what they did. They caused so much disruption with that front as the game wore on. Drake May started seeing things, started seeing people out of the corner of his eyes, started seeing it, could not feel comfortable, missed obvious throws because Seattle's defense has already gotten into their mind. So look, I think it was a little bit boring, but at the same point, you take it as like I do when I play chess. You got to have patience. Sometimes it's going to take to the fourth quarter. I know many people turned it off after the halftime in the third quarter, and I'm just like, this is the way. This is football, isn't it? If it comes down to a 3-0 game, it's the equivalent of a 1-0 baseball game. It's not much excitement there, but you're still in it to watch it, right?
Yeah. It was a back and forth battle. Z, you got me? Can you hear me? You hear me?
Yeah,
okay?
I can hear you now.
All right, cool. What do you got on the Super Bowl?
I kind of agree with everybody's saying. Yes, it was boring, but it was smart. It was a smartly coached game. Taking the points early like they were doing with the field goals was smart. If you watch the rest of the playoffs, a lot of teams were going to a fourth down a lot early in the games. And at the end of the game, that 3 points or 6 points, a couple field goals here and there would have made like the Rams move on for sure. Made those points earlier when they got, McVay got greedy. So I thought it was smartly played, by Seattle for going for those field goals early and not pressing, just taking the points and moving on and letting their defense, control the game, which it did. And that defense, like I said, just to rush 4 in pretty much the whole game in the Super Bowl was pretty outstanding.
Yeah, they did. They played a hell of a game. And frankly, the Patriots, I thought, played a pretty good game on defense to just keep themselves in it. And we're gonna go to the lone DB on the set because I got to give love to Christian Gonzalez. Dude's a baller, right? Dude's a baller. He single-handedly kept that game in check, breaking up the deep pass to Rashid Shaheed, almost intercepting one against JSN. Mark, where did the Patriots struggle at? Obviously, Christian did his thing, but how could the Patriots have, maybe shown up a little bit better?
I think they played well enough to win, but here is where I saw the whole game change. The defense both sides were playing great defense. What I saw the change of the game was at halftime. When the Patriots came out, think about this. You watched the game as well. They had the first 3 possessions, they were 3 and out. And from the defensive side, if you could get 3 and outs, they got them in a row, not spaced out over the whole half. They got 3 consecutive 3 and outs. That's like a turnover because now you get 3 and outs. Your defense got to get back on that field. We're tired. We are tired. And that's when Seattle start making moves on that defense. They start figuring that stuff out. That's where it changed to me. Now, all the if a woulda, shoulda, couldas, the overthrown passes that Drake may made, I got it. Okay, cool. But those 3 and outs out of halftime and your OC couldn't make adjustments, oh, dude, it's game over. It's game over. You're already up 9. Now you got a tired defense and you driving. And as Bradford said, hey, points at a premium, oh, dude, it's over. It's over. That's why I seen the change.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was one of those dynamics where I was wondering if the older, more experienced coaches were going to be able to outcoach the youth of their players, but it didn't work out that way because Seattle showed up and they were like, we're just going to hit him in the mouth. And then you're going to see what you want to do. You know what I mean? And New England never bounced back from it. If you've ever hired someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important it is to get it right the first time. When you want candidates who truly match what you're looking for, you're going to have to trust Indeed sponsored jobs. I mean, if you're hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job posting on those other websites. Indeed's sponsored jobs put your post at the top of the page, and it helps you reach the right candidates faster. Instead of struggling to get your job post seen, the Indeed sponsored jobs helps your listing stand out and reach quality candidates ASAP. Sponsored jobs is going to boost your post to the people who are the best match for your exact role, and that makes the real difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with less stress, less time, and more results using Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show get a $75 sponsored job credit to help give your job the premium placement it deserves at Indeed.com/LockedOnNFL. Just go to Indeed.com/LockedOnNFL right now and support the show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed. I did see some power rankings. They have Seattle as number 1 going into the season, the Rams number 2, and the Patriots at number 3. Do you think the Patriots should be that high right now, just going into the upcoming season? I see a couple of heads shaking. Who wants to jump in? Feel free. Take a stab at it.
Well, they got there. I mean, you got to go off what you just saw, right? So they got to the biggest game. They lost, but, you can't put them in the middle of the pack here at the end. So based on paper, yeah, they're going to be in the top 5 just because they got to the Super Bowl. Now, as we all know, we all played. How it plays out for this upcoming season is a different story.
I honestly think that it's going to be a different season for them. Now, are they going to make the playoffs? Probably so. I'm basing this off of Detroit Lions, and I'm talking about the difference in scheduling by the NFL whenever it comes out this spring, right before the draft. And that schedule is going to be different. It's going to be a first place schedule, and they are going to be facing foes that are a little bit stronger than what they faced this year on a week-to-week basis.
I was just going to piggyback off of that, knowing what the Ravens had gone through in the last 5 seasons, where every year it just seems like you're just playing some of the best teams early in the season, and you better be playing your best right away. I think for New England, first they're going to have to get some of those guys that were banged up healthy. But yeah, the reality is that they're a young team, and I think that, sure, they can learn an awful lot. I think they, are a really good coach team with Vrabel to get a young team to, kind of put blinders on. You don't know what you don't know. Go on the road, play who you play, and win. Okay, we don't know we're not supposed to win on the road. We don't know we're not supposed to beat these guys. We just go out there and play, and hey, here we go. I think also the distraction of success. How are you going to handle it as far as the offseason? Now, you big man on campus, you're coming back with all your AFC championship swag and all that entails. What is your focus going to be like? And I think those are things that, for this Patriots ball club, they're going to have to figure out. But you're right, that schedule is going to be a whole different mindset than what they had this year.
Here are the opponents. So the away games, obviously they're going to get Buffalo, Miami, and the Jets. So you schedule those out how you want. The away games are going to Chicago, Kansas City, Detroit, Jacksonville, the Chargers, and Seattle. So they got to go and play this team they just played. All right, Kansas City's going to try to be getting back. Detroit's going to be hungry. The Chargers are going, so they're all going. Then on the home games, they get the Broncos, they get the Packers, they get the Raiders, the Steelers, and the Vikings. So yeah, that's not going to be easy. That's not going to be easy. Commanders had similar situation there. Lincoln, how do you bounce back coming from the Super Bowl? Obviously you had the experience playing in one. How do you bounce back that next season? Like, what's the mentality of that team to go into that upcoming season? How they're going to change things around?
Well, we had the mindset as collectively as the Raiders coming back because we had our roster still intact. We said we were going to make another run for it. And after the success of going to the Super Bowl the year before, the next year was an absolute disaster. The team collapsed around Bill Callahan. And he was early in the season where he went on public and said, we've got to be the dumbest team in America. Half the team quit on him. We went 4-12 that year. And it's hard to repeat. As we all know, we all played. It's hard to win games, no matter what the circumstances were before. But when it comes to New England, one tidbit I'll throw out there to add to what everyone has already said, New England had brought in 30 free agents.
Yeah.
And a lot of those free agents were pivotal in their success. I'm sure, depending on the contracts in which they sign those free agents, they're probably going to want more money or they're going to go. This is not going to be the same team. And much to Brad's point, because the schedule goes from a 4th place schedule to a 1st place schedule, circumstances change. Now you're playing Kansas City and such and such back-to-back, Seattle back-to-back, one on Sunday, one on Thursday. You're not going to have the same amount of success. It's hard to repeat. And I tip my cap to those teams that have been having to have that dominance and create that sort of legacy. But that's not every year that we can speak on that.
Yeah, MC, you coming off of a Super Bowl. What is your, how do you repeat? How do you, put that success out there again?
The hardest part of trying to repeat is, and guys, it's really not the schedule from my perspective, because we're all good. This is not the SEC. We're not playing Alabama, then playing Western Michigan. All these guys can win. What the hardest part is when you win, and I know we're talking about the Patriots, but I'm going from a winner's perspective. When you win the Super Bowl, Now, especially in today's landscape, you're playing on Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. So it's when you're playing. You're not just playing on Sunday where people can watch it. Now the scheduling changes of when you play. So that's a big deal now. The hardest part is that. Secondly, everybody's you're on the target. Everybody's going. You're the guy. You're the big man on the block. Everybody wants that feather in their cap. So now you're playing a team. Let's say you win as the Seattle Seahawks, or let's say you won as a Raider or a Giant. Now you're traveling in the cities. Everybody's showing up to see your butt get beat. You're the guy.
Yeah.
So that's hard. That's tough. And the teams that can do it, hats off to you. We never did it in New York. After 86 won the Super Bowl, came back in 87. We're playing the Chicago Bears Monday night. The previous Super Bowl champion versus the current Super Bowl champion. That's how the league works. They're going to match up stuff like that. We got our butts kicked, which happens, and then we went on strike that year. 3 weeks after. 1990, we had 2 coaches leave. Bill Parcells left, and then Bill Belichick left. So we got a new coach, Ray Hanley, who just passed away. My condolences. He took over in a situation where it was just tough. We didn't make the playoffs that year, so it's tough. It's a tough road to toe, and the Patriots or the Seattle Seahawks, no matter who you are, win or loss, it's just tough.
Yeah. Q and then Z, just kind of tipping on the power rankings. I'm obviously going to ask, do you think your Ravens need to be closer to the top in that scenario, where you think they fall at? And then Z, I'm going to ask you about what team you feel, or if it's the Bears, that should be a little bit higher up in that ranking.
Well, as you guys know, I was saying early on in the season on this show and other squad shows that I do that John Harbaugh was looking at his final days. And sure enough, his final days were coming and going, and they went. So now he's going to be in New York and see what Big Blue is going to do to him, especially that media. But with that said, I think for the Ravens and Jesse Minter, I think he is a great young up-and-coming coach. He gets a coordinator in Declan Doyle, who Z, very well from over at the Bears. Ben Johnson was like, all right, I'm gonna let you develop the game planning during the week while I do my head coaching duties, but then I'm gonna take over and call plays. Now he's gonna have to call plays. He's gonna have to be on the same page with Lamar Jackson and making sure that what this dynamic quarterback does and what does it look like for such a larger than life personality to go out there and play his best under your offensive scheme. So I think for the Ravens, it's not that they can't be up there at the top and be in that upper tier conversation, but I'll also say, similar to Mike McDonald, I think they'll have success. And I'm hoping like Mike McDonald, next year we'll be talking about them going to the Super Bowl and obviously hoisting up the Lombardi. However, I think, Jesse Minter, he has what it takes. But a lot of it, though, comes down to Eric DeCosta. If Mike McDonald had Schneider, I think for Jesse Minter, it is about what Eric DeCosta can do, because the offensive line looked woeful and the D line. I think that's one of the brilliant things that made the game look so cool in my eye when I was watching, Seattle. They had some sim pressures, but as the game went on, they just rushed forward and was getting to Drake May. So I think bigger picture wise for the Ravens, it's all about what they do in this offseason, building this team before they can even think about, hey, we're one of the upper tier teams in the NFL.
They got a little work to do, huh? What about you, Z? What you think?
Well, I want to piggyback on somewhat, about Mark. The SEC, talking about year in and year out, they're always good. Last 3 natties went to the Big Ten, by the way, buddy. So don't be giving me SEC anymore.
Mike, no, listen. Listen. Okay, how about Big Ten? How's that? How about Big Ten?
Secondly, so like with my Super Bowl runs in St. Louis, we won it, We had an easy schedule, played every game at noon on Sunday, so we were in a rhythm. We come back the next year, like we were saying, we were playing Thursday nights, Sunday nights, Monday nights, all over the board. Barely make the playoffs, losing the first round. Change coaches right after the Super Bowl that we won. We go from Dick Vermeil to Mike Martz, so we're getting new coaches in. Kind of keeps similar coaches, have 2 coordinators on defense. Became kind of a going on. You know, we move on from that after the losing season, or not a big run season. And, you know, we get Lovie Smith in. And we reload a little bit on offense and defense. And we make the run, we make the Super Bowl, and we end up losing. But it's hard. It is so hard to go back-to-backs in this day and age. And as for the Bears, you know, again, they had the easy schedule. They had the 4th place schedule. And they had a bunch of turnovers. And like I said, we all played, especially us on defense. It's hard to get turnovers. It's hard to get them. And they had a record pace this year for their team, and close to the league, I think, record of turnovers. And that's what kept him in the games. And Caleb played out of his ass in the 4th quarter. That's hard to do year in and year out. It catches up to you after a while, because teams will figure you out and have a plan for him, you know, this coming year to keep him in the pocket and make him a true quarterback. And then we'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah, you get to see where the good teams are really built out and just how much depth that they have. You know, Washington was a similar situation. Bad schedule all the way to the NFC Championship. You end up having a whole bunch of injuries, and you have a good schedule to go up against. It wasn't so pretty. Now we're picking number 7. So we should have a pretty impactful player. After the Super Bowl, there was a quick head coaching assignment. Lincoln, you got a head coach now, man. Clint Kubiak. Speaking for the Raider Nation, the silver and black conglomerate, I present to you Professor Kennedy to give his thoughts on Clint Kubiak.
Well, you know what? For me, it was a little bit of a nail-biting situation, because you had 10 teams that started the offseason needing a head coach. The Raiders went it through their interview process, and I always felt that they were going to lean to Kubiak, but until we had ink to paper, I didn't know for sure it was going to happen. And of course, they were playing a very dangerous game, in my opinion, when you're waiting. You have to wait to the end of the Super Bowl, and then Seattle made their run, obviously. But the great thing I will say to Raider Nation, and this is a tip in my hat for Kubiak. Clint comes from a football family. Obviously, you know what his father has done, 4-time champion, and all of his brothers are in football. And he's had a tremendous rise to fame. He's worked his way up the ranks, definitely deserving. I'm tipping my hat, you know, after 13 years for him to be a head coach in the National Football League. That's very impressive. But one thing I do know, and I've heard, you know, various sources, that during the interview process, Clint Kubiak kind of turned it around. Instead of the Raiders asking him questions, interviewing him, he actually turned around interviewing the Raiders. I think it's, as an offensive player, offensive-minded coach, it's good to have the very first overall pick. And you know that you need a quarterback, and Fernando Mendoza is available. So there are plenty of things to entice a would-be coach coming into the situation. But you know what? Here we are. It's like a revolving clock, or a Groundhog Day. We're seeing a new head coach come into the Raiders. I hope this one sticks. They signed into a 5-year contract. But much as you guys are pointing out, and we know about the schedules, the Raiders were in 4th place last year. They'll play a 4th place schedule. I don't think they're a playoff caliber team. I think they have many holes they need to fill. I think they could compete, but I also think they're also in one of the most competitive divisions in all of football, AFC West. So when you're looking at Kansas City is going to probably rebound coming off of their dynasty ending the year. You've got the Chargers and you got the Broncos there. So competition is heavy. It's thick, but tip my hat off to Clint Kubiak. Welcome to the Raider Nation.
Yeah, it should be exciting.
Hey, Lincoln, I have a question, Lincoln. What do you take of the Max Crosby situation?
I don't put much credence into that. I mean, look, recent years we've dealt with Myles Garrett complaining, with Micah Parsons, obviously guys for different situations. But I think Max Crosby, I get the feeling, Brad, that Max is a Raider for life. I just get that feeling. He knows he's the identity of the team. A former 4th-round draft choice that worked himself into a star. Now, is he disgruntled? Absolutely. And I would be in this position too, a rebound. I've played 11 years, and we had 5 different head coaches I played for or whatever in those years. So it's hard when you lack consistency. But I will say this, and this is the big but, when it comes to the Raiders giving him a contract extension, the fact that he's coming off of a knee injury, which says you can't really explore trades to April, and the Raiders have got a lot of work to do. And of course, Brad, you know, with today's climate, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not in general management or anything like that. These athletes think they have a voice.
Yeah.
You take it from all sports. Look, You can come and give me your ideas. You can come and give me your what you think, but don't come and tell me how I should pick or who I should draft or who I should take as coach. That's unfair. And more importantly, some of these athletes, they get that voice of demanding where they want to be traded to. You can kiss my ass with that one. I'm gonna say,
well, you know what? Because here's the thing:
place
at
will
the end
take
of the
him.
day, end of the day, they're still getting a W-2.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, I got a place that he could go to up there in DC. We'll gladly make a trade. Tell me this: you go look at the roster. You go pick somebody. Let me know anything but that 7, and then the pick number 7 is off the board, and the quarterback is off the board. You go and tell me what you're looking for out there, Lincoln.
It's got to be at least 2 first rounders.
Exactly.
You got to have at least a Micah Parsons type of deal, or what they gave for Sauce Gardner.
Come on,
you got to.
Come on,
yeah.
man.
That one spot, yeah.
Who got an extra one around there I can hold, man? Let me borrow.
You asked me a question.
I can send you a player. Let me send you a player and a pick, man.
Give me the number 7. This year's number 7. Next year's first round pick and a player.
Boy, y'all ain't.
And I'll give you Max Crosby.
That
Don't the Colts got 2 first rounders this year, or is it the Jets?
Yeah, but Sauce is much younger than Max. Max is an impactful player.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's a little disgruntled. I don't know. The price may not be that high. I think you got the price. I got a coupon code somewhere.
It's definitely going to be 2 first-round draft picks.
Has to be.
Yeah.
The way that
From a guy, but he got a bad knee, though. He got a bad knee.
Still a little minor scope. Come on. That's
okay.
He say he's got a bum knee, but yet he's playing hoops the day they shut him down.
Yeah, something's going on with that too.
Hey, man, he didn't want to get shut down. Why you shutting him down, man?
Because look, it was the right thing to do. He's the future of the franchise. If I was coach, I would have shut him down too. Like, look, you're too important to me to play in these final 2 games. They mean nothing. And I know that you're not. If you were Myles Garrett and you were chasing the defensive sack record, I could see it. Okay, you're going out there, but no, you're worth way too much to me. I'm gonna shut you down and pacify the moment. And I'm saying, look, I know you want to play, I know you want to be out there, but this is for the betterment of the organization, for you with this organization.
Yeah, I can appreciate you coming with the player health perspective right there, man. I can appreciate that. The winter games are officially here, and if you're anything like us, you're locking in for events you only get to see on the biggest stage every 4 years. And that's why following the winter games on FanDuel just makes sense. From medal counts to individual events to finding your angle on the sport you care about the most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. There's the drama from curling matches that start slow and sometimes get intense fast. And then the speed skating matches, they're going to be determined by inches. Hockey games that feel different right from the opening face-off. And even niche events become must-watch events when you're fully locked in with the competition. FanDuel is going to keep the entire Olympic experience engaging from start to finish. The Winter Games are on, and there's no better way for you to follow them than with FanDuel. FanDuel, play your game. You mentioned Myles Garrett. Dude balled out this year, man. He was getting sacks left and right. Ended up winning Defensive Player of the Year. So a lot of the awards, frankly, all the awards have went through. Were we surprised by any of them? So from what happened, the MVP, Matt Stafford, Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel, Assistant Coach of the Year, Josh McDaniels, Offensive Player of the Year, JSN, and Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. I'll stop right there. Any of those surprises to y'all? Nothing.
To me, the assistant coach.
Yeah. Who was your vote?
I would have took Schwartz.
Yeah.
Two of those guys
Jim
on that list
Schwartz
are from Cleveland.
Yeah.
Right? Myles Garrett and the rookie linebacker, correct?
Yeah. Carson Schlesinger.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or Vance Joseph should have been the other one. I know I'm a defensive guy. I'm picking defensive people, but
no, but you got valid.
Both those guys, they
Very valid.
performed.
I get it.
Performed. And you can throw the defensive coordinator from Houston too.
Yeah. A lot of other guys in there.
Yeah.
Shoot. What do you talk about Schwartz? What's the deal with that situation?
Oh, yeah.
There in Cleveland.
Oh my goodness. He stepped away. He walked away.
That's two coaches. Cleveland coach Schwartz stepped away, and then the O-line coach in Philly. Yeah. He decided to step away. What's going on with that?
Well, my opinion with Schwartz, he thought he was next in line to be a head coach. He's been a journeyman of a lot of teams, and every team that he's been on, including the Raiders, passed him up as a head coach. What does he have to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
But-
never should have gave him that second interview. If
Yeah,
they
but
were
somebody in
hired,
Cleveland-
they should have slapped him in the face with that, and then bringing a kid in the mid-30s. He's a finalist. You're slapping him in the face after his body worked the last 2 years, especially in Cleveland. With
Yeah.
that defense with no offense, and they're rolling. Man, that's a slap in my man's face.
Somebody in Cleveland, the owner, told him something, and he was supposed to be the next in line, and he didn't get it. That's why he walked. Because that's how I think. Somebody told him something. Dude, you stay, we'll take care of you. And then they bring in what's his name from Baltimore, and Monken
Monken. Yeah.
as a head guy. And he's going, wait a minute, man. What you told me? I'm out of here. I'm done. That's what I think what happened.
Dirty game sometimes.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
It's a dirty
The
game.
thing is,
sometimes.
Cleveland still has the rights to
Yeah.
use him.
Yeah,
He's not getting
See-
paid.
And they knew it. Yeah.
They
So
still have the rights to him.
There you go, man. Lord.
that's cold, man.
Dirty
That's cold.
game, man. It is a dirty game. All right, let's talk about some of the young cats that balled out. Tatoria McMillan, wide receiver out of Carolina, offensive rookie of the year. Carson Schwessinger, y'all said that, linebacker from Cleveland, defensive rookie of the year. Comeback player of the year, Christian McCaffrey, protector of the year. I know that they fought for this, so shout out to y'all O lineman. Joe Thuney. Thuney. NFL rookie of the year, Tyler Shuck. Any issues with those?
Oh no.
No argument. You don't think there should have been another?
I didn't see a lot of Tyler though. I didn't see much of him playing New Orleans, but everything had a great year.
They played at noon, and it wasn't airing where you was at. You was on the golf course
exactly.
when they were playing. You were like,
Hey,
hey, ain't
I
nothing
thought
wrong.
we
I'm
were
jealous.
friends.
Dude. I'm jealous. I wish
You
I
never
would have
know
been on the
where
golf
MC was
course.
at. He's
Yeah, I
got
know.
golf styles around the country.
That is true, man.
This is
He's
true.
always on the move. Well, congrats to those
That's-
folks that won.
Yeah.
Last one, Walter Payton Man of the Year was Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
And I know that's an illustrious, that's a big award for the community service. And since I had all of y'all from different decades, I wanted to see if anybody had experience with the Walter Payton that they would like to share a story.
I'll start because it was probably me.
It's definitely you,
played.
Mark.
I played against two guys. I mean, I respect everyone we played, and of course, present company. Two guys I played with almost respect. Walter Payton was one of them, and he was. We played him in '87, and I made a tackle. Somebody made a tackle. I ran over to make sure I helped him up. He's one of those guys. It's just one of those things that, when I was a kid, watching him play was awesome. It was just, I couldn't believe I was on the same field with him.
Yeah.
And the other guy was Steve Largent. These are two guys who were, the ultimate professionals. And covering Steve Largent as well was something. After both games I played against him, we're talking about Walter Payton, I made a beeline to get to him before he went to the locker room to shake his hand, just because he was that type of guy in the NFL. So that's my Walter Payton story.
That's what's up. Well, is nobody else?
Well,
had a Walter
let me jump
story?
in
Yeah.
on that Walter Payton story, because I was down in New Orleans, and we had training camp up in Wisconsin. And we had a joint practice with the Bears, and I'm sitting there, and we're just all doing our thing. Obviously, you get that second practice, which nowadays they don't even have a second practice. I'm like, mother of pearl. Y'all so lucky. I used to be looking at the board, be like, oh, please let it be no pads. Please let it be no pads. Okay, we got another padded practice. All right. Okay. But in between the practices, we were sitting down, everybody just sitting there chilling, eating. And it was Walter. He came over, sat at our table, and the back and forth conversations that he had with us young bucks was just incredible. I sat there and was just like staring, like, wow, I can't believe it. We sitting here with Walter Payton. We having lunch with Walter Payton right before we going out there for practice again. And one of our boys, running back, real big, strong dude, he's like, man, I think I could beat you in arm wrestling. And Walter looked at him, he's like, I think you can, young man, but let's go ahead and give it a try. I kid you not. We sat there and Walter like straight up arm wrestled homeboy and beat him. Like, I mean, and I think he was toying with him too. I think it was one of those like, oh boy, you got me. Oh, boy, I gotta just and like, I mean, just stories for days. And obviously, Mike Ditka was our coach for the Saints. That staff, I'm just going to say it right now. I don't care if y'all were there or not, but it was the worst staff ever assembled, known to man, mother of pearl. We had, I was like, why would we, like, Saturday practice is supposed to be the perfect practice. Everything is all set. Man, they started talking about, hey, so we're going to change up the protection of the game plan. I was like, change up the protection? Like, they should be already done. So anyway, I digress off my Walter story. But yes, Walter was a consummate professional, but just like an amazing human. And I'll just never forget how he treated us when we were there in New Orleans, up there in Wisconsin, sweating to death. But he was just such an awesome, awesome human.
Man,
I got one, and it pertains to my wife. She worked for the Bears towards the tail end of his career. And she worked directly with George McCaskey. And that's back in the day whenever, the administration and staffs were a lot less. So she worked in the ticket office, but she also ran the kids program. She did. I mean, you wore many hats in the building. And she told me and it happened on more than one occasion. And I'm sure y'all have heard about this, but she was coming into work one day, and Walter every now and then would sit at the front desk. And he would answer the phone for all the calls coming in. And he would answer it and be like, he wouldn't say it was him. And he would just answer. He's like, Chicago Bears, how may I help you? How can I direct your call? And she said almost to a T, almost nobody recognized his voice.
Wow.
And nobody questioned it. And he would just forward the call.
That's hilarious.
That's a
Good story.
That is hilarious. Like you never hear those stories. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Who'd you have? I mean, probably nobody to that level, but in relation, Lincoln, who do you have that you came across that you shared the field with, or you were like, man, that's
well, I mean, there's been a number of guys that I've shared the field with. There's also been a number of guys I wouldn't even have dinner with, but share the field with. It's. I'll recall one story dating back. I remember when Jerry Rice was released from the 49ers and he came over to the Raiders. And I was pressed by so many beat writers and everyone else. Do you think he's over the hill? Do you think he's over the top? Do you think he's lost his edge? And I said constantly, it's Jerry Rice. If you're lined up across the Jerry Rice, no matter, are you thinking about his age? Are you thinking about what he can do? Or are you thinking that it's Jerry Rice? Because I know when I played against Reggie White and Bruce Smith, I didn't care where they were in their career. It was the utmost respect. I better bring my A game. You got to better bring my A game, because if you think I'm over the hill, that's when you're going to get it. And I told Reggie White, may he rest in heaven, I said, look, with all due respect, Mr. White, you have been a terror to opposing tackles, but I refuse to make your highlight film. And I'm going to do everything humanly possible. I'm going to kick, bite, scratch. I'm going to talk about your mama. Anything to get you off the attention of my quarterback, I'm going to do. Might not be able to block you totally all the time, but I'm going to do it. And that's what you had to do when you had those people that you respect across from you and you play against. And of course, we're talking about all these guys that we played against and played across from and played with, and everyone was good. I mean, you might come across a guy who had a bad game, but there weren't any slappies in the National Football League. But I think in regards to Walter Payton, it's a tremendous honor. I never had the privilege of playing against him. He was gone when I came to the league, but I did see Barry Sanders. I did see Emmitt Smith. I did see Eric Dickerson. I did see a lot of great running backs do their thing, and rightfully so. But to be nominated with the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, I think is a tremendous award. Even if you don't win it, if you're nominated by your team, it is very the prestigious prize.
Yeah.
Now, Lincoln,
how
many years were you, whenever you, like your rookie year, past Bo Jackson? How many years was it?
I don't know when did Bo retired in the late 80s, wasn't it?
Okay, was it late?
So,
okay, I wasn't sure.
My first year in the league was 93.
Yeah,
no, I wasn't with Bo. Yeah.
Okay.
He's 91, I think. 91.
91.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe you got in the league in '93. Then How old are you? Me and Lincoln shared the field in Arena League.
I turned 55 on Thursday.
Boy, happy birthday to you,
Happy
man.
birthday.
Black don't
Hey,
crack,
happy
man.
birthday.
Shout out.
I
to
turned
that.
62 January 16th. So
There you go.
Hey,
Happy
well, happy
belated
birthday to
Right.
you too, Mark.
thank you.
Birthday.
Anybody else got a birthday coming up? We can sing.
4.
There's that calling. There's that calling. There's MC doing his thing.
Oh,
What
man.
time's tea time, Coach?
Yeah,
Junior
right.
Seau
He's
used
like,
to
hey,
say
we gotta
that
wrap
back in
this
the day.
sucker up.
Junior Seau used to
Look
say,
here.
what time's tea time? What time's tea time? We gotta go.
I need me a tea time too, man. I've been itching to get on the golf course. We need to have a squad show on the golf course. See if Allie can. Allie, hook that up, man. Come on,
I'll bring the
man.
cigars.
Yeah.
We
Got
can put a
plenty of them.
camera
Let's do
on
that.
the golf carts.
Let's
That'd be
go.
a really good show. Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026. One, it's kind of crazy seeing some players that make it, at least that I played with. I'm like, dang, we was on the field at the same time. Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, and Roger Craig. Anybody got any experiences with those guys? Any stories about those guys you want to share? What you got, Brad?
Yeah, I was on the coaching staff in New Orleans, 17 and 18 with Drew, and the amount of preparation that he would go through, just the consummate professional and everything, with the way that he went about his business, and he got every ounce of production out of his body and mind. And he was also a member of society in putting himself out there for the city of New Orleans.
Yeah, he was big. He was big down there. I mean, what, 6 feet tall? He had to overcome just the stature.
Yeah.
So he was prepared. I remember seeing him warm up, and he would throw the ball, but then he would continue going through like 3-2, 3-4, and 5 just to make sure he was on top of his game the whole time. Q, what'd you have?
Yeah, I was gonna say Roger Craig, long overdue. 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard receiver. Obviously with the great 49er dynasties back in the day. Big Link, you and I, we came out the same year.
Yeah.
And our rookie minicamp, we didn't even have rookie minicamp, we just had minicamp.
Yeah.
We went out to minicamp, and the veterans were there too. And one of the veterans was Roger Craig. And this is something I tell and have told to all of the young bucks that are coming up or have come up through the league. But back then, while I'm OG status now, back then I was just some young dude sitting there chilling while Roger Craig was in unk status. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, I'm standing next to Roger on the field. I'm looking over, I'm like, that is Roger Craig. All right, bet. So he goes, yo, Q Niski. I was like, all right, I don't know. That's a interesting nickname, but Roger Craig said it, so I'm gonna be Q Niski. Bet. So he was like, man, let me tell you this. Take care of what takes care of you. And I got paused. I was like, all right, what do you mean? But what he meant and what it meant to me and still means to this day, even as I do all the sports performance training and human movement training that I do currently, the taking care of what takes care of you, the way in which he would talk about taking care of your body as far as the recovery process and helping yourself be out there on the football field each and every day. One of the things that I know both Jerry Rice as well as Roger Craig and them implemented in San Francisco, but the late Denny Green, rest in heaven to him as our coach, but he would never really have us do conditioning, but he was like, the practice is the conditioning. And it was guys like Roger Craig who would literally, every time you would catch the ball, you would take it 40 yards to the house. And so that was your conditioning. And so I think just his professionalism and the way he took me as a young player under my wing, or under his wing, I should say, and teach me the game and how to recover. But I've been able to pay it forward with a lot of the guys that I've been able to come in contact with over the years. So definitely shout out to Roger Craig and congratulations to him for his Hall of Fame nod. Long overdue.
Z, you got anything on those guys?
Yeah, I mean, the same thing, like, Q was saying, like, we played the 49ers and he was there and it was like a training camp and everything. It was pretty cool to see that, and see him moving around and with Rice and, and Young and all those cats, it was like, oh my God, like I'm in the NFL, but these dudes are like dudes, You watch them play against the Cowboys and, and I'm playing for the Steelers, which was, the Steel Curtain, but it wasn't like the Steelers of, the Steel Curtain days. It was, Bill was just starting to build back to that, but it was just amazing to see that, and then, playing against Barry Sanders, it was just like, holy cow, and like Mark was saying about, the receiver. What was the receiver's name again?
Steve Largent.
Steve Largent. So Steve Largent
Yeah.
was at my charity event out in Oklahoma, middle of nowhere. He was the governor of Oklahoma at the time.
Yeah.
And he came to it, and I was just like, holy cow, this dude, It's just like, wow, you meeting him, and Barry Switzer. I know he wasn't, big NFL guy, but when I met him, he gave me my quail hunt, and you're meeting guys like that. It's just like, it's a humbling thing, even though we've all played and we played a long time, everyone on this panel. But it's just like you meet these cats that built this league up to what it is today. It's an honor, to be in the same airspace with them at times, And I think it's the one thing these cats nowadays don't understand. You got to learn the history of this game.
They don't
to really understand it. I remember when I was a rookie, I had a guy named Kenny Davidson, played at LSU, a defensive end tackle guy. And we called him Rolodex. This mother knew everybody. Like we watching tape and I'm like, we called him Foot. I go, Foot, what do you mean? He goes, hey man, you got to know the history. And I was a rookie. I'm like, I absorbed that, and I made sure I learned everybody. Like as we, went to the opposing team, the offense and the defensive lines. I made sure I knew everybody, and I try to learn everybody on the roster every week. I'd hold her the flip card. Remember the old flip cards he used to hand out? I'd grab them the week before and try to learn everybody, what school they went to and everything, just so I could be able to have some knowledge of it. And I wish cats nowadays could do it. Because when I was coaching, I'd be in the room and I'd be throwing off names, and I'd be some cat go, who's that? Who's Leroy Glover? I'm like,
Yeah.
Leroy,
What do you-
like,
you
oh my
gotta
God,
stop
just
the
throwing a
tape.
name out there. But I'm like, you guys gotta
What do you
understand.
mean?
Especially D-line guys. You are
Yeah.
D-lineman. You got to know who built this up to
Yeah.
what we have nowadays. Who's getting you paid? Because they're the ones that set the the foundation for you guys to make these millions and millions of dollars that you never have to work a day in your life when you're done playing. I said, you got to know it. I wish guys took, younger guys would, take more time into learning that.
Agree.
I want to let me piggyback on what ZJ said. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm gonna throw this out, and I'll get back to the Roger Craig deal. For these players now, I was one of the 7 guys who sued the National Football League for free agency. It was the McNeil case. We got that started. They since changed it to the White settlement, and Reggie White, may he rest in peace, had nothing to do with this. So us 7 guys who put our asses on the line for this league and its owners, and all of us to have the benefits that we have, from financial services to healthcare, we started that. So that's where the learning your history part that I wish the league would tell some of these players. Free agency, this is why this league has prospered from what it was back in the 70s and parts of the 80s. But I digress to Roger Craig. I caught Roger Craig in his heyday with the 49ers when he had a juggernaut in San Francisco. I was with the Giants. You talk about a player with the tenacity to run, and to not just run by you, but run over you with the high stepping. That was the epitome of Roger Craig. He was a competitor. And I am so happy that I'm older, he's older than I by a year or two, that I crossed paths with him and caught him at his peak. We won some games with the Giants against San Francisco, and they won some as well. But his competitiveness, his tenacity was off the charts. And his blocking mate, Tom Rathman, who went to school with him in Nebraska, I hated seeing San Francisco. I hated them running the ball. You see that 33, his eyes are open and they're looking at you, and that high stepping. Man, look, congratulations to all those guys who made it, and congratulations to Roger Craig for making the Hall of Fame.
Hey, I got one thing to say about that. Like, so I remember we were playing, I was in St. Louis, we were playing Kansas City, and they had Marcus Allen. And he was notorious for short yardage runner back, at that for his career. So I'm like, all right, he's gonna run through this B gap on defensive left, they're right. Sure enough, I'm in the hole. That little dude, Smooth, ran my fat ass over. All I saw was the lights of the TWA dome. I'm like, holy cow! I've never been hit so hard in my life. And that was like in the middle of my career. I was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, I was like, holy cow! Just boom. First
one
down.
last
Anybody
point,
can get it.
one last point I want to make about the Hall of Fame. It's a tragedy to me to see so many people make so much of a funk about who didn't get in, rather than celebrating the people that did. Look, the Hall of Fame to me has been a disaster in its own. That's a conversation for another day. They need to have more players. It's so backlogged. Everyone wants to put an emphasis on first ballot Hall of Fames. Yes, it's a tremendous honor, like it is being the first pick in the draft. But if there's a miss, there's a miss. I don't think they missed with this class.
Nope.
Yes, there are guys who are deserving. That probably I know are going to get in. Most notably, the coach Bill Belichick. He's going to get in. But I didn't have any problem with a lot of things from his past, and I don't know him. I never played for him or anything like that. But I don't have a problem with him not getting in on the first ballot. And I don't think it's a tragedy to the Hall of Fame for him not to get into the Hall of Fame for the first ballot, because I think all the guys that went in deserve to be there.
Yeah, I won't call it. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not privy enough to say who should get in, shouldn't get in. I'm in the house of a very, very good player. That's where I live. So I would just think, wouldn't it make sense that the guys who are in vote more than the beat writers who don't know nothing about the game?
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Well, it should be, because remember when we played, that's how the Pro Bowl was.
Exactly.
Used to be, yeah.
The biggest vote was off the players. Now, I mean, you got Sanders get it in. He only played 5 games.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been down that road. That's because they took it away from Hawaii, and then it was like, well, I don't want to just go to Orlando.
True story.
So then they're like, I'm just not gonna go. So
now there's no game. There's not a game anymore. And now even though I'm not a conspiracy theorist, why Sanders made it, I think it's more because there's a pecking order. If one doesn't want to go, if two don't want to go, it's always next quarterback up or next player up, right? So he goes. Maybe it's just to sell tickets. I don't know. I who knows? I don't know, but it's not a game anymore.
He might be on a future episode of this show if it'll get somebody to watch. Hell, you get what I'm saying? He might be on this show. Come and visit from time to time. If y'all if Mark, you can't go, we might bring Shadur in and let him hang out with us.
Sell some tickets.
Get an extra viewer too. You know what I mean? Bring his dad on as well.
That's how it works.
Prime's invited. You know what I mean? You can bring your brother too, Q. He can get on the show if he want to break away. You know what I mean? All right, man. Last little bit, we'll get out of here. I don't know about y'all. I was undrafted. I saw my draft came and went over 2 days. My name didn't get called. But now it's time for a lot of these players from college to get ready for the NFL draft. Do you have any draft prep stories that y'all maybe went through in your own specific situation?
None for me.
No.
Nothing exciting.
I'll
Whole bunch
start
of
it.
lifting and running. What you got, Mark?
I was projected first round, winning the second round, 44th overall to the Giants. And I would tell some of these guys who want to be a first round pick, just be patient. You're going to go exactly where you need to go. You're going to be exactly where you need to be and make the best of it. My thing was, when I was projected in the first round, I was projected to go to Tampa. At the time, 26 teams in the league. Bo Jackson went number 1 to Tampa, and I was projected to go 26 to Tampa. This coach from Tampa comes to my college, Cal State Fullerton, asks for tape on Mark Collins. This is my coach is telling me the story. He goes, hey, I don't want to film on Mark Collins. So the coach goes, hey, I'm on the phone. Can you wait a minute? Coach waits, moving through the story. He asks again, and the coach goes, I'm on the effing phone. Just wait. The guy leaves the coach's office. He goes. My position coach finds me on campus. He goes, Mark, I just think I cost you the first round. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, well, this coach from Tampa's asked for film on you, and I was doing some stuff for Coach Murphy, our head coach. Fast forward, Tampa takes Bo Jackson, and it took Roderick Jones with their second pick in the first round. And I get drafted by the Giants. So we had a watch party, and it was, first round, you get drafted first round. Whatever. Giants took me second round, so 44th overall. So Fast forward, this guy, Roderick Jones, had a great career in Tampa, but never won a championship. I go to the Giants, win the Super Bowl my first year with the Giants, and a starter on that 86 defensive team. So what I'm saying is, you're going to go exactly where you need to be. If I were in Tampa, I'm not paying for a championship until the 2000s. I made it to 99, but I digress again. You would never even, you can't, I don't think anybody on this dais can name anybody from the 1986 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No, you can't, because they were garbage. That team sucked. So it's just how it is. God put you exactly where you need to be. So that's my story.
Did you
I'll
ever go
piggyback
thank
that-
that coach? Did you thank him? Did you ever thank that coach for being
Yes,
so
because
busy?
we won the Super Bowl, when I came back to Cal State Fullerton to talk to the team and stuff, and I said, Coach Mikulich, you did me a favor. He said, what are you talking about? I said, well, if you would have gave that video, those tapes to that guy in Tampa, I wouldn't have won a Super Bowl. He goes, yeah, hey, where's my cut? I bought him a couple of
Send him a
beers.
shirt. There we go.
Well, I'll piggyback that comment by saying I don't necessarily agree totally with you, Mark. I understand getting drafted is something of the prestige, but I got drafted to Atlanta and I hated it. I hated the run and shoot.
Ooh.
I hated the first year with Jerry Glanville. He stopped practice to bring Johnny Cash on our field, and we hadn't won a
gosh.
football game yet. So I hated that, and I hated the run and shoot under June Jones. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I signed a minimal contract so I could dance as a restricted free agent, which I want to thank you for, Mark, your efforts in going through that. It would not have been possible if you didn't have it, because everyone else around me was signing 5-year contracts. Then I landed to the Raiders, and the rest is history. But, that first team that I landed on, I could not stand and regretted it. I was thankful that I was drafted where I was drafted, but hated it and had to find another spot. So that's the only way I disagree with you, Mark. But thank you for what you did for free.
Oh, no, dude.
Amen.
Man, didn't know we had such an influential person.
I'm glad.
NFL
Listen, I'm glad you got out of there.
I am too.
Yeah, because man, back in the day, once you sign with that team and you walk away, let's say you want to come back 2 or 3 years later. No, they own your rights. So our deal was, why can't we have the same kind of luxury as a banker or anyone else to go around the country and make more money and have the wherewithal to continue our jobs? We should have the same rights. So that was it. I'm glad you got out of there, because Atlanta was bad back then.
Look at it this way, Mark. Look at how it progressed. It evolved to down to college football. College football is free agents now.
It's the same way.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
And where else you gonna get the originator of NIL on accident?
That's
Mark
right.
Collins
That man
started
right there.
He started that barbecue business back in '86. Man,
I put my
tell
ass.
you.
Listen, I'm always for the players. I've been my 13 years of NFL playing, I was a union rep on every team for every year, except one in Green Bay. I went to Green Bay late, and we had Eugene Robinson was our player rep. But for 12 of my 13 years, I was a union guy. I'm a union guy. I will always stand up for the players' rights.
I love it. And that's the perfect way to get out of here. This is the NFL Players Squad show. I'm Anthony Armstrong. That has been Kadri Ismail, Professor Kennedy, Jeff Scanina, Slick, Mark Collins, and Bradford Bant. Appreciate y'all sitting in with us. Y'all hang out with us. Look around for the rest of the summer. We'll be back with some episodes at some point throughout there. Y'all stay safe. And Mark, hit them straight, man.
I will.
All right.
Y'all be good.
See you guys.
Peace.